Welcome back to episode 19 of Heal Hot Girl. My name is Samantha.
I'm LB.
I'm Jess, your wellness bestie.
And we're back.
We are.
Second to last before season one's over.
Penultimate.
Penultimate.
Penultimate
Oh.
episode.
It means two more, y'all. Oh, right?
Second to
Second to last.
Before you just start saying penultimate and that shit doesn't feel like, man, what? But honestly, no one knows what that shit means. I would be like, wow, she's got a vocabulary. Penultimate? I would be on Google like, what is that?
Now y'all know.
Yeah, so we're just going to count down with you guys every episode to remind you when our last one will be. But 19 is crazy.
That's going to be crazy. Our next one is our last one.
Yeah. Ready for a little break, though?
Yeah, it's so bittersweet. I feel like it's...
I feel like we're going to miss it, low-key.
Yeah.
But you know what's interesting? Like, we're definitely going to miss it, but it's... we are ending certain parts of our lives. Like, you're home, now new apartment. I'm about to go back to DC. Transitions, like...
Back to the school year.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's time. It was like, it honestly, and to be ending... Like, our last episode will air at the very end of the month. So it's like we'll be done at the end of August. And it's just crazy because, it just feels like a closure.
And I feel like also needed to be like a little bit more of like also a period of rest for you. Like the summer,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? From the school year, it's so hectic. You have to be up so early. Then sometimes having to stay late, like the work that goes home with it. So
I think we're all looking forward to like settling a little bit and like just kind of chilling and just like not having so much to do. Because there's a lot that goes on during the week when Jess is doing cuts, Sam is publishing everything. Like, there's just stuff that has to, not to say I'm not doing anything, because I'm using my brain to think about what we're going to talk about. But yeah, for them, I think there's just but we're still like, posting our reels, like trying to do engagement and stuff like that. And we'll still be present online. But I'm actually looking forward to like each of us tapping in a little bit more into like individual things to share rather than just the pod.
Agree.
Like more like personalized stuff.
And I think the fans will be receptive also, because a lot of people have said, like, I've gotten feedback from people who have said, like, I want to get to know a little bit more about y'all personally and like some of the things y'all are into, like your tarot and like, Jess, your wellness journey and how you became the wellness bestie and like in good health, So like, I think people are like curious to know about some of these things that we talk about.
It'll be so good. I'm excited that like we were like just as excited about that concept for the remainder of the season of the year. But I think that's another piece that is different than other podcasts. You don't really get inside scoop on people's lives. You usually get it on their individual page. And I think there's also an element to like building that feel from our business page and not necessarily people having to
go to each of our pages.
So it's the reflection of the beginning of the episode. Love it. Love it.
My hands are sweaty.
Why are they sweaty? Are you nervous?
I think I'm nervous.
Because what we're about to talk about? You're not ready?
I don't know.
It was
my idea. Now I'm like, why are my palms so sweaty? What's going on?
Today, Sam, would you like to take the floor a little bit on this one?
I
Because
would.
This was really your initiation here.
So we're going to talk about attachment styles. And where this comes from is I took an attachment style quiz like a year ago, and actually the background story, I don't even think y'all really know the background story of why I took it originally. So this is great pod content. I signed up for this relationships 101 class last year, and I didn't go. I told you about it because I sent you the worksheets for it.
Yes,
wait, I'm excited to hear about
this.
this.
It was hosted by a therapy group, like this holistic. They do meditation, they do energy reading, and they do therapy. It's called the Happy Hour. It's actually a fantastic company name. I love it. But so I registered for this class, Relationships 101, because I'm like, clearly I'm lacking, I'm struggling. And the things they were talking about is like, you really get to understand yourself and like how to identify what it is, like where are your problem areas, you know what I mean? And like how to shift your dating from where you are to where you want to be. But I never ended up going to any of the classes. This was like an 8-week class, once a week, and I never went to one of them. And initially,
was it free? You didn't pay for it.
No, I paid for it.
Really?
And did not go. I think it was like $300.
What?
Swear to God. And I did not go to one class. But here's, I think, why I didn't go partially, too, is because I missed the first one, and I can't remember why. I think I just got nervous, and I was like, I don't want to go. But then they added us to this Slack group. So everyone that was in the class was part of a Slack group, and they shared all of the materials and resources that they went through in the class on Slack. So I was like lurking. I was definitely checking every week.
Is that like a platform?
Oh, Slack is a messenger app. Yeah,
Okay.
It's like Teams or a lot of people since the pandemic have like had. It's like another Zoom type of, but like just for chat. So yeah, Slack is like a good tool for like small businesses too for instant messaging. But so yeah, they opened this Slack group because like we could open one for HHG, for example, and have like us. We could do our workflow through there, but then also we could add one for like our community. Like
to like talk to us,
so
or
they
to
could
each
come.
other.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
that's
We could create
cool.
like a community Slack group. So anyway, that's what they did is they created
I
this
like that
community
idea.
Slack group, and they shared all of their materials and resources. And one of the early on materials they shared was about attachment styles. And I had the secure, dismissive, avoidant, and whatever the fourth one is. And I was like, oh, I'm all of these, except maybe secure. I'm all of these. Like these all are true for me. And then so I think they either point you to a test, or I Googled to like figure out what my attachment
Is that how
style
you like
was.
started? Was that like the
That's how it started.
framework of like
Taking my attachment or my attachment styles quiz. Yes, this
Okay.
is how I got to taking my attachment styles
Got
quiz
it.
because there's this dating worksheet in front of me about all these attachment styles, and I was like, I don't know which one I am. I think I'm all of them. And so I take the quiz, and it comes back, and it came back as anxious, and I was like, well, that's wrong. I'm not anxious.
not me?
I have diagnosed anxiety and depression, but it's definitely not me. Like anxious attachment
This
couldn't
can't be it.
be me. And so I took it again, and my results were even stronger towards like anxious attachment. And so I was like, huh, I didn't like that answer. And I did nothing with it for like the first year. And then I don't know, it just sort of clicked with me this year. I don't know, like a light bulb went off, and I was like, holy shit, my attachment styles are like fucking with me. Like, and it fucks with me in relationships, and not just in romantic relationships, in friendships. I even was thinking back, I'm like, damn, my narrative to my family is like, no one pays attention to me. I'm the middle child. Like, and I'm like kind of joking about it because that's what I do when I'm uncomfortable. But, but like,
LOL, but not really.
but like, I was like, wow, I have this in my head, like I'm always left out kind of thing. And I'm like, where is it coming from? Where does it come from? Where does it come from? And I was like, oh shit, it's your attachment style. And what makes sense too is I think one of the things I do to like get in front of my feelings sometimes is I will withdraw myself. Right? And so I was like, I'm just noticing these patterns where I'm like, and I'm trying to figure out where these feelings are coming from. And that's where it led me back to, was my attachment style. And I was like, holy shit. You can have attachment issues, not just in your romantic relationships, but in your friendships, in your family.
Yeah,
Like,
so
it's
like all
crazy.
relationships.
It's crazy. And once that clicked for me, I was like, holy fuck, this makes sense now. But we're going to speed up the story, too, because I actually retook the test again this week, getting ready for this episode. So spoiler alert, Jess and Alyssa, I also had them take it.
Sure did.
But so I took the test again just to like see if my results were the same, and they actually changed, which is like a thing. They can change. They should change, hopefully. But I am now avoidant attached, which is apparently where I wanted to be the entire time, I think, because I was disappointed when I got anxious.
You're like, no.
So yeah, so I'm avoidant attached right now.
Do you know what the difference is? Like, are you able to?
If I had the worksheet in front of me, I could
I
probably
know, I
tell
actually-
you.
I opened it up.
Oh,
Did
okay.
you?
Good for
Yeah.
you, 'cause I was
Okay,
like, I
so
feel
look,
something.
so anxious attachment is fear of abandonment, this one hurts, need for constant validation, and dependent on partner for self-worth, which I've honestly felt. It's definitely for sure number one, but I felt number 3, and I won't say that I felt number 2, but let's just say it goes with it, okay?
It's a possibility.
It's possible I did. Except it doesn't say, I don't know if it's dismissive avoidant or just fearful avoidant. It was just avoidant was what I got. So, but dismissive avoidant is avoids intimacy and vulnerability. I think that's where I am. Commitment issues and guarded and closed off heart. That's what dismissive avoidant is, which is sad because I don't want to be closed off. But I think everything else checks out. because when I was thinking about it, I was like, well, my phone's been real dry, right? Like I've been saying this, and it's by design. Like I could be chatting and talking to or dating people, but it's like everyone I meet, I'm like, meh.
No thanks.
No,
Nope.
maybe no.
No.
It's just I like my space and my peace that I have created for myself so much. So yeah, I think have been actively avoiding relationships, but also maybe those people sucked. I don't know.
I know it's hard to say. It's like you don't want to take the like full on blame, I guess you could say. You don't want to be like, it's just me, because I mean I'm sure there's an element to it that you're just not meeting people that you really want to have a relationship with, which I definitely think is part of it. But like, yeah, that's the part that kind of fucks with you. Like, am I pushing people away, or is it just they suck? I don't really know.
Yeah, and it's probably a little bit of both.
It's probably both.
Yeah.
You're right.
So that's where it came from. That's where I am.
Was there anything that made you decide to take it this time around? Were you just like thinking recently about like your relationships? And you're like, let me just like.
I was just taking it because y'all were taking it, and I was like, let me just have some accurate results. Like
you told us to take it.
No, I know, that's what I mean. Like y'all were taking it too, so like let me just take it again to like see if anything's changed. Because here's the other thing.
But what made you, I guess, bring it back up now recently? Because you were the one that kind of brought the attachment styles to us.
I think it's
have you
because
been just like
I think it's just because it's constantly on my mind now of like the way my attachment style shows up, and I don't know what specifically that day triggered it that I was like, we should do this. Because there was something I was like, oh, we should do this, but I don't remember what it was. But yeah, it's just because it's been such a present part of my life these last few months where I'm like, and it's, we're the heel hot girls.
Yeah,
like,
no, true.
Why, and the attachment stuff, because it's such a big thing for me right now, I guess, maybe.
No, it made us think about it, because we was like, did you take a quiz? I was like, fuck. So on the way from the mall, like, to here, I was taking the quiz, and I'm like, okay. Like some of the questions, I'm like, I was feeling like at the moment, if I had taken, to your point when you had mentioned, your styles can change. So at the time when I first took this, because I've taken it before, I feel like I was like dismissive, avoidant, maybe.
That definitely sounds like me, to be honest. She said that.
I don't know. They were or fearful avoidant. I think probably fearful avoidant. Yeah, probably. I don't know. Anyway, point is, it was one of the other ones. And I feel like where I'm at now, like taking it today, it said I was secure. And I was like, okay, God, you giving me too much credit. Like, that's initially how I had felt. But I was like, there's certain components of it. When I was reading into it a little bit more, they were just like, some of the characteristics that are attached to the attachment style may not necessarily apply or is something that you may have to work on in current relationships. And I was like, that's fair. I definitely feel like there's definitely areas where like, yeah, I've put some healthy boundaries, but like I can also avoid situational. We kind of spoke a little bit about that. Like, so I definitely some elements, but nonetheless, I'm like, okay, well, I'll take it.
So when did you first take it?
I feel like the same time I took my love language. Like this is someone had brought it up, and I always take these quizzes. Yeah. But it didn't click, and then I was like, and today I was like, okay, let me hone in a little bit more because it's been a crazy week. I was like, really? I was like, okay. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, what's crazy about mine is I went back and tried to manipulate my responses, and it still came back anxious, and I was like, fuck.
Well, all right. She's like, I took it 3 times, and I was like, LOL, it's 3 times for me. Like, that's funny.
Yeah.
I took it a couple days ago, and I also got secure, which I was like really surprised about because I feel like I have taken this before. Maybe it was a couple years ago, like probably 2 or 3 years ago. And at that time, I believe I had gotten an anxious, but at that time I was also coming out of a relationship. So I wonder if how I felt at that time was like probably mirroring like what I felt and like a lot of the insecurities that I had like in the relationship because I was doing a lot of like people pleasing and like to keep the relationship good and like ignoring a lot of my own stuff and like kind of just like trying to hold on to this thing that was like clearly like not good for me. But yeah, so then when I took it this time, I was like, okay, this is 2 things. It's either that I really have done some really great work, self-work and healing, or I just don't give a fuck about anything anymore, that I'm just like, agree, neutral, agree. Like a lot of the questions that were just like certain things, I was like, I don't really care. Like I don't attach. But I also think part of it is like my personality. Like I've kind of always been like, and I don't really care what other people think of me type of person to a degree. I'm not gonna act like I don't at all, but I've always been kind of one of those that like, whatever, like take it or leave it kind of thing. So I think that it kind of showed up in that way, but I also got secure. But when you were reading like the avoidant, I think part of it too is just like I just also just avoid a lot of any kind of intimate relationships. Like when things get to a certain point, I'm like, oh no, this is like too much, or like I'm not ready to like become that vulnerable or allow another person to get that close to me. And maybe that's why last episode I was talking about I never had a lot of relationships. So I actually think I've probably been this way my whole life, because I kind of think I've been avoiding these motherfuckers for years. Like this is not a new thing. Yeah, no, literally since like high school.
Bullets though.
Yeah.
Bullets.
Well, true.
She's doing the marriage.
Yeah.
The oh my gosh, wow.
The robot?
No, girl, Lil Kim.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. No, really. But like, cause I honestly can't say, like when you said that, I was like, can I think that there's anyone that I could say that like got away? And I'm like, no, like there's really no one that I could say in my life that I was like, damn, I dropped the ball on that one. Maybe like one.
I feel like women don't drop the ball. I'm not speaking for all women, but most women, I feel like don't drop the ball. I don't know.
It's more often than not, but sometimes it's possible.
But mostly it's the men.
It is, but I'm not gonna lie, I was trifling. Like I just told you a story how and not to mention that story from high school, I had a boyfriend when I was over here sneaking another boy in my house. So like
you were trifling.
I was
like,
a
good woman.
oh no, okay. See, I'm saying too much, but like LB was out here. Like there was definitely like times that because like part of it for me was like I always kind of enjoyed like doing my thing, like talking to who I want to talk to, like. I just really don't like being restricted, but that's kind of just like a me thing too that I'm noticing. Like even at work, I know eventually like I'll have to get into probably doing my own job, because like anytime someone tells me what to do, I'm like, I want to do what I want to do. Like don't tell me what to do. Like no,
much, yeah.
no, yeah. Like I was on a date last week, and
like what's a boss?
And the guy was like, okay, this is gonna be our last beer, and I said, what? And he was like, okay, clearly you're like not ready. And he was like, I'm trying to align with you so we can leave after this. And I was like, don't tell me what to do.
I didn't say. Trying to align with you?
Yeah, he's like, alignment, Alyssa. Like I'm just basically trying to check in with me, like, oh, last beer, okay, and then we can like go or like go somewhere else. And I just took that very offensively. I was like, please don't tell me what we're gonna do. I was like, I'll leave when I'm ready. And that's just kind of my problem is like, if you ask a lot of my ex-boyfriends what my issue is, they'll probably be like, she fucking doesn't listen. Like she does what she wants to do.
I wonder what my ex-boyfriends would say about me. She's an angel.
Probably 100%. What did we do wrong? Yeah, Abby. It's
Same.
that and like talk with my hands. I know I'm like a hand talker.
I do get that. Yeah.
Clapping.
When
clapping away.
When I get angry. Yeah.
Yes. But like it'll be interesting. I think maybe what sparked it too was like our bestie Kayla Nicole. She had posted about her attachment styles on Instagram a couple weeks ago, because she's like, you know, going through her therapy journey and all that and like learning. And I think
what was her attachment style?
I think hers was anxious.
Girl,
yeah.
Thank you. So I'm not alone out here with these secure bitches. Fuck you.
Yeah. Yo, I was shocked. I said secure, and she got it too, and we were looking at each other like, are we sure?
I literally had to research it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But because the way that they phrase the question, it's like, you know, your mother, your caregiver. There's like your father. You know, does this person make you feel secure? Did you ever feel like being abandoned? Like, the way that they just pose the questions, I'm like, in hindsight, like my parents, they would go above and beyond. You know what I mean? There were things throughout my life that happened, and I feel like when I was working on some inner child work with my therapist, one of the areas was kind of my abandonment schema. I could see
schema is another thing too.
Yeah. And so
schema,
I can't even. It's a lot.
Girl,
look it up, and like everyone listening, look up your schema too, because that tells you a lot about your relationship as well. The attachment style, but also a schema is kind of the way that I think it's like the way you view things, or like how a lot of things show up in your relationships. There's different, I can't remember the exact, I learned about it in grad school at some point, but that was like 5 years ago at this point, so I don't remember like the exact terminology.
Yeah.
But were you about to say, Jess?
I was just gonna the meaning of abandonment schema, I don't know. I have to look up the schema piece. I was trying to
I'm really
look up
curious
that
now
piece.
because.
But having abandonment schema means you expect others will not give you consistent support, connection, or protection. You likely indiscriminately view relationships as unstable, unreliable, unpredictable. And so I will say that, and a part of that can be like separations from a loved one, like just certain things that that could have happened in your life. So that was something that like she had called out. And so when I received Secure, I was just like, huh? But I say that to say that there were just moments in my life that definitely required healing. But I think in the grand scheme, in the big picture, the way that I'm like, I guess, like the way it was posed, I'm like, I felt really good about how I answered. Like I was neutral in a lot, but I was also like, I strongly agree. Like, and I strongly disagree. I didn't feel like,
Oh, all of my answers. I think I answered neutral for like one or two things.
I didn't
Everything
do neutral
was
for
strongly
any. I don't think. Yeah, I
disagree.
agreed. I didn't really do neutral.
Yeah,
either.
I did neutral for like, I feel like a few.
Yeah.
On each one, it was like about others, like on each segment, mom, dad, and then friends.
Is that what that was about? That was about mom, dad, and friends?
Well, no, it.
Because I don't remember. I definitely answered a bunch of questions, but if I did, I might have answered them. I was just answering them in general.
No, they were. I'll pull it up. Well, anyway, the quiz that I took I took the quiz on Attachment Project website, and they posed it from a mother's, like your mother, caregiver, your father.
Yeah, we took different ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't take the one she sent in the chat.
Got it.
She took matters in her own hands.
There was a
she just
specific
Googled
one.
an
Yeah,
attachment
just go.
one. Okay, yeah.
I was like,
well, I mean, there are variations, I'm sure,
yeah.
but I just went to when I took it, I Googled, or I went to our, like,
the chat, yeah.
All right, guys, I'll take it on this one, and I'll get back to y'all next episode.
Yeah, I'm sure they're similar.
Yeah.
But a schema, just to give you there's like a lot. It can be very complex, but it's basically it's like a framework or a plan. That's like the I guess layman's terms, a diagrammic presentation. But like I have to read a little bit more to familiarize myself more. I don't want to go in too much detail. But it's basically an organization of like your thoughts and and a framework of like why you are the way you are. And there's ways to like take tests for that too. And it's just really interesting because I don't think that a lot of people display the behaviors and truly, like, to your point, don't know like where exactly they're coming from. But like I've spoke about before, I'm such a believer in your childhood. I just think it frames you in so many ways and you have so many experiences. And it really shows up later in life if you don't unpack certain things. And I had a similar experience as Jess. Is like I had very close relationships with my parents. There was never any sort of like, there still are like the rock to like everything. So, you know, that may be, I think I had a secure attachment as a child because you can also look at what your attachment was as a child and how it.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I feel like I've upgraded in life to dismissive avoidant, so y'all can't touch me. No, we're working on it. What I did find was interesting too is I actually redid the relationship paperwork earlier this year. I went through all the papers again just
from the 101 class.
Yeah, from the 101. I just did them again. It was actually my therapist's suggestion. She was like, well, you know, like,
why not?
Why not? And I found something really, really, really interesting. So there was this grid of like values that you look for in a relationship. And so I had everything that I had circled the first time. And it was like, what do you get? The values, they were like asking you what your values were for yourself, for work, in a relationship, and then just broadly. So you had to answer them like that. So like, you know, whatever. But so when I answered it the first time, I had marked things like security, stability, like consistency. I had marked as relationship, as like a relationship needed to give me those things. And then when I took it again a year later without looking at my results, I just took it and then compared my worksheets, and I had marked all of those same qualities as things that I give myself.
Oh my God, That's awesome.
security, stability, consistency. And I
That's
was like,
awesome.
holy fuck.
Yeah.
Like that's growth. That's like
Yeah.
actual growth you can see. And I was like, wow, you struggle so much too because you're looking for security in the wrong people. You know what I mean?
Outward for it.
You're
and,
looking
like, not
outward and it needs to
inward.
be inward. Just the same thing like love, right? Like you're looking for love out here. Love is right here. You're never going to find love out there until you find it here.
Yeah.
So I was like, holy fuck.
And it changes, like we said before, it changes the type of partner that you'll have once you're able to like fulfill that for yourself and you are able to find that within you, then you're seeking different things from a partner or you're not, it's not dependent, maybe is the word I'm looking for.
It was wild. It just like blew my mind and I was like, I don't know. So I feel
Do we think the folks that are in relationships should take these courses ongoing? Because I feel like it's a different perspective because we've been single for so long, and that's really what I think it is. Is like I've been single for like 2 or 3 years now, so I don't. It's not even like a. It's not even a thing really because I haven't had one and I had a man in a minute. So I'm like, I wonder if I were to take it mid-relationship. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if it would be a good idea for people in a relationship, like, take in the beginning of a relationship and then, like, 6 months into your relationship to see if... Because I think sometimes naturally you shift... Things happen. You know, once you become intertwined with, like, another person, some things happen naturally, right? In terms of just, like... I don't want to say codependency, but, like... Kind of like you shift the way your mindset is. So I wonder if
you start to consider them in different ways, you know, like before you do something or like before you make decisions. And
no, I'm laughing like that's really partnership right there.
It is.
Like,
it's like I wonder it would be interesting to like do a study and have people take it in like the beginning of their relationship and then go 6, 8, 12 months in and see if your style has changed once you have like partnered up with someone, because it's like I don't know, I think some things just happen naturally and you don't really, not necessarily in a bad way, but
I know for me that's something I've been like I realized in one of my long-term relationships. I was like, wow, I put this person on a pedestal. You know what I mean? Like my whole life became about this person, and then when that relationship ended, it was like my life ended. My life, all my, you know what I mean? It's like so I realized from that relationship that I was like, I invested too much of me in him in our relationship, and the investment wasn't equal, clearly. But yeah, I just thought the attachments was so interesting. I guess to answer your question, I think all people should do it. Like, unless you've got...
Check in with yourself every once in a while.
Yeah, like, you should know what your attachment style is. Like, we should know what our love languages are. You know what I mean? Like, they just help us understand and navigate the world. Like... I mean, unless you got no problems, you don't need therapy. Like, I mean, unless your life is Gucci.
Everybody needs therapy.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, I think everybody should know their attachment style and, like, know that it can change, too, just because you're one thing now, clearly a year later, 2 years later, you know, like.
And it can go either direction.
I'm now dismissive, avoidant. So, you know, you don't always have to be anxious.
Yeah, no, it was funny. I was talking to OJ yesterday because I was just, in terms of, like, the vulnerability
Ooh, we should make OJ
like, dating.
take it.
No comment. No, we should.
He's going to be like, why do you guys bring me into the pod?
Catching strays and he's not even here.
The attachment styles, right?
Giving Lindsay all the praise and glory.
Right. OJ, take the attachment
and
style.
I'm over here like, no comment about OJ. No, but it would be interesting to see, because I'm sure it's not something I think probably a lot of men specifically.
Oh, I'm sure.
Really
Adam,
like.
Have you ever taken the attachment styles quiz? You do?
Really?
Wow. Good for y'all.
Do you think that's impacted your relationship in any way? Like in a good way, or?
I think it helps us understand each other.
Helps them understand each other.
Understand like things that might not make sense until you know that.
Yeah. Like certain behavior,
Context,
like maybe feelings,
yeah.
or like things like that you don't even like really know where it's coming from.
For sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never taken
I haven't
either.
taken that one. Whew, I'm
Does it like
scared.
assess your level of trauma or like?
That you've had in your life.
Oh shit.
It's basically said I should be institutional.
Oh my God. No.
Wow.
And then maybe
Wow. Okay, so
Wow.
Okay.
That's
do
awesome.
you guys do it together or individually or both?
We just recently did it. I never did it before.
Okay.
Wow.
I went with her a couple times.
Wow.
That's
Good for
amazing.
y'all. Yeah. Oh, therapy's. Well, it's usually Akil here, but I talk about my therapist in almost every episode. Like I love her so much. We're besties. In my head.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I think that's awesome. Actually, I think that's a really it just helps you understand each other better.
Yeah.
And like sometimes like why and me, I'm telling you, some of the stuff I read, I was telling to Jess, I took a personality test, which we can link all these on our
Yeah,
our
we should.
IG,
We
just
absolutely
so you
should.
guys can
Send
take
it out in a newsletter.
because it if you really want to know how fucked up you are, take all 8 of these quizzes.
I'm gonna take the trauma one though. That one's interesting.
Yeah, no. And I
Never
think,
done
but I
that.
think it's just a lot of these things. And while there's always a caveat, or there's always not everything is going to ring true, and like not everything is going to be like perfect. But I do think, like even reading the personality quiz, the personality quiz was like crazy because I was just like, damn, like I really do that. And then not that it always is helpful, because then it's like, what do you do with this information? You know what I mean? Now that I have it, it's like there's not a guide that's like, okay, go to 3B and now it'll tell you what to
Yeah.
do and how to handle this.
It's like those little, what are they, like little infographics?
Yeah.
Like, if this,
like
yeah,
the flow
then-
chart, you
yeah,
know what I
flow
mean?
chart, that's what
Like,
it's called,
yeah, you go to like here to here to here. So like sometimes you sit with it, you're like, well, all right, what the fuck do I do with this? Like
Yeah.
it's telling me this, but like what do I do? But I think it's just more so, I would say go to therapy if you feel like you need to. That's what another person is for, is to help you navigate that journey. Because a lot of it, therapy really is just someone helping you figure it out. We're not giving you the answers. We're not like telling you why.
So
To
frustrating.
some degree we
Yeah.
are, but really our job is to guide you, because eventually the idea is for you to do it yourself. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's for you to be able to sort through certain things or to have different responses in that moment. It's not necessarily meant to be, which I'm not going to shade people if they've been in it for a long time, but it's not necessarily meant to help you. Like people think they go to therapy and they're like, they're going to walk out in 6 months and be like, okay, they told me everything I need to
Wait,
do.
I literally, when I signed up for my therapist, y'all, okay, first of all, I was depressed. And I was like, I'm going to take this for a few months, and then I'm going to be good. And then I'm going to go to, my therapist is also a life coach. And I was like, oh, and then I'll switch to life coaching.
LOL.
In 3 to 6 months, here we are 2 years later. Like, I can't imagine. Now we do like more maintenance. It's like monthly.
Check-ins, kind of.
Yeah, more like
Yeah.
check-ins, because I'm just like, I can't be alone in my own head. I know that. And so
Absolutely.
like, I like to have her there for these monthly check-ins. So like we're not seeing each other as regularly. Sad.
Miss you, girl.
Miss you. But yeah, man, therapy, I definitely thought I was going to do this little therapy thing and be done and be solved. And then now I'm like, LOL.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Wow. I need to find a new therapist. I need to
Yeah.
find a therapist.
It's
not
hard
a
to
new.
find a therapist.
Yeah.
We talked
we did.
in the beginning of the season, though. I'm just going to remind you and everybody, Psychology Today. Psychology Today, I'm telling you.
I know.
And
I
it's
know.
still an arduous process in that, like, you have to, like they only narrow down your insurance, your location, and maybe some of the things you're looking for. Like, I was looking for, like, family and, like, anxiety. I was looking for those specific things, but then you still have to, like, I still had to make a list of, like, the 6 people that I wanted to call. It still required me to call every single one of them, see if they had availability. So it wasn't like my job was done after I went to Psychology Today. It was still some
What
work
takes your
after that.
insurance?
Yeah.
Who takes your
Oh my
insurance?
gosh.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
Psychology Today there's a filter
It'll
for
filter that out.
Yeah, but then it's like, well, who's taking new
No
patients and like who has availability, and then also what's their rates. So yeah, like I started to do a little bit of that process.
I used to call my
afterwards, but-
therapist my life coach, and I'm like, I would like a life coach.
Yeah, I've actually considered.
life
I know a
coach.
lot of, because here's the thing, a lot of successful people have life coaches. A lot of like high achieving people have life coaches, and so I was like, maybe
I wonder what that
I should look
entails.
into.
Like, what is it? Like, what do they do?
I think they just keep you accountable. I think it's like an accountability buddy, but they also have like strengths and areas that you're looking to build on. So the girl, Taylor,
Yeah.
I reached out to her because I was just curious. And so the specific type of coaching, I hope I'm getting it right, is like confidence coaching. So like what I'm looking for is more accountability coaching, which is what she helped me get to that spot. Because I was like, well, I don't really know what I'm looking for. Like, here's my goals. I'm like kind of looking for someone to help me like stay on track. And she was like, okay. So she kind of explained it, but so she specifically focuses on like building confidence, self-confidence. And so that's why people go and work with her. So I would be looking for someone who's like, you know, successful in business and has a track record of like getting things done and like works with people like me who are ambitious and like have goals that they want to achieve. So like I would look for someone like that. But I think you can get coaching for almost anything these days.
Probably. I just always
My therapist was my coach.
Yeah.
I was like, you helping me get through life, sis? Like that's
my literal life coach, like day to day, just like
that's
trying
literally
to make it.
what
Yeah.
for sure.
I don't know what I've been talking
I need
about
a tennis
therapy
coach.
forever, but Jessica, we were getting ready to come here today. She said, I want to wear a tennis outfit. And I was like, what? She's like, no, I want to go back to tennis. I'm like, all right, girl, do you?
I mean, you can get the tennis outfit without doing tennis.
No, but I don't want to sit straight. I really want to do tennis. I really do. I want to get in it. I want to have go to adult clinics and have a coach and go to practice with my fellow adults.
I mean, that sounds like country club life, and honestly,
Definitely
I'd love that for
does.
you.
Hello, pickleball, whatever the fuck
Yeah.
those rich people do. I'm here for it. It definitely is giving rich activities. So I
For
mean,
sure.
We're gonna go play.
yeah. I've never picked up a tennis ball to play, like besides playing with a dog in my entire life.
That's
like
funny.
It's never been like
One thing.
a
Never been your
sport I was
thing?
interested in.
I never knew how to play.
Oh my gosh, that's from earlier.
Yeah, right? That's crazy.
Jeez,
Like swole up. Swolled?
it was
Swelled?
a little thing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What was I about to say? I actually owned like 4 tennis rackets at one point.
Yeah.
She was a
Softball
player.
Sam.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to
Tennis
play.
racket? Oh.
It's just me and my friend Nina used to we just wanted to be outside and we're looking for things to do, active things to do. So we would just go grab the
That's
ball, the tennis rackets, and we would just hit the ball back and forth. But
You were
Yeah.
saying you something before I interrupted you about the tennis coach. Maybe not seeking.
oh,
a
you said you were
coach or
thinking about
seeking
you've
a
been
coach?
talking about going to therapy.
Oh yeah, it's TBD.
TBD?
I don't know. Like I said, I think I gotta figure it out in my head. Half the time, I feel like I know what I'm supposed to do. It's just a matter of doing it. But I keep thinking, I'm I really do probably need an outside person, especially to help me move past this, get to a place of an intimate relationship. I probably need someone to help me with that because there's clearly something happening.
Yeah.
That is
Well, I think just because of the work you do,
Yeah.
you carry so much for other people. You know what I mean? You need an outlet too,
Yeah.
right?
No, I think so. I don't know. It's just
yeah.
intimidating.
You might need a therapist to
As a
tell them
therapist,
about
I
the
can
little
only
kids.
imagine it's intimidating. But my therapist has said too, she was I need a therapist. My therapist actually might go to therapy.
They all do.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my
the majority of them do.
My supervisor, we talked about it. She's a big advocate for having like you said, an outlet, another person to talk to because our work can be so heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Just having an outside person to talk to about whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see. I've been saying I was gonna get in therapy for 2 years, and here we are. So maybe season 2. Stay tuned.
It's a journey. It's a
It'll
journey.
come to
So
you when it's
yeah.
supposed to happen.
Yeah.
If it's supposed to happen. Period.
We'll see.
We love it. She
Well-
talks to God though. That's one thing she do.
That's really what it is. Every morning, every night, we're locked in. That's my boy. I just talk to him. I'm so God, it's me again.
Dear Lord.
Sometimes I just need someone to talk things out with, which is
Yeah.
sometimes what I'm looking for in a partner. But I'm I don't know if that's wrong of me, but I feel that's kind of what I need another person for, is just to help me which is probably why I need a therapist, not a boyfriend, because his job is not to fucking help me figure my shit out.
No, I
but
do. I get what
saw-
you're coming from, though. Of everything I do in life, every decision I make, always on my shoulders. So sometimes I just
I'm
want someone to
exhausted.
bounce the idea off of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just want someone to
And I just find myself
Talk it-
lately to
talk
have
it out with.
such a short fuse with people. I just don't have it. If you're if you're not coming the way, and this is probably fucked up of me. Honestly, we're having therapy right now, guys. Thank you so much for coming to my first therapy session. I'm so glad you all are here because we are fucking figuring it out today. But I was just damn, I lost my train of thought too. Whatever. Oh yeah, short fuse. And I'm if people are not showing up the way that I want them to, especially in the beginning, I just like, I'm cutting them off like immediately. There's like, people are not making it past 7 days at this point. Like it's like 7, 14, but it's like, I feel like you show your intentionality like very soon. And I just like I said, I've been saying this for weeks. I just don't have it. I just defriended someone I was like, bye. Like, I don't have it. I ain't got the time.
Sure.
And I just think that, I don't know. This is like just an inner dialogue I have with myself all the time. So I'm just like, are you being too harsh? Maybe you're being too harsh. Maybe this is a Virgo in you where you're just super impatient and you just like don't have the like, I'm just like, you're not doing what I need you to do. No. But then it's also like, what do you need them to do? So I don't know. Maybe I do need therapy.
We all need
We're all
therapy.
figuring it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You good, girl.
we hope
like,
so.
Because, like, not for nothing, I also feel like that's a big thing that we've emphasized has been dating with intentionality. So, like, people do show their hand. And
so you're right.
you're right to just be like, no, it's not about that. Because
I don't like that hand.
if the person was
Bye.
doing
Facts.
exactly what you need, they wouldn't, you're not getting a flower today, a rose today.
That's where the host comes in. So we only have one flower left to give today. Sorry if you did not receive one, but you can now. Time to say your goodbyes. But yeah, that's where I'm kind of at.
Yeah.
I'm just exhausted. And I'm just like, I don't know. Or maybe I'm just exhausted with life right now. It's just life is a lot
I had
right
seen
now.
a reel of a couple, and he was like, so-and-so calls me every she's
Oh,
I'm the
yeah.
I've seen
Chanel.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Chanel Iman's man? Or Chanel? No.
He's like,
Anyways,
she
I've
calls
seen the
me.
I've seen the reel.
So that shifted perspective too.
Will we
Like
finish the reel? Because it's just in case other people haven't.
he was
seen it.
saying how his woman calls him for everything. Like he's one of the first people she calls, and like people around him would be like, "Yo,
Why she calls so
her name
much?
is Chanel. Yeah. Do you ever get tired, basically, like of her calling you for every little thing? He's like, no. Like I want to be.
I don't want her to call anyone.
I don't
Why
want
would
her
I
to call
want her to
anyone
call
else.
someone else?
Yeah.
And I think that's.
He said he said like she's like, I don't know, something about
Like,
what he said was like something about how like she's got the confidence in me, or like what I've given her is like she knows she can rely on me, and why wouldn't I want her
why
to-
wouldn't I want that? And so like I like that element of it too, and I think
Yeah.
that is important. They should be. So when you're like, do I need it? Should I get it from a partner? We should have that.
Definitely. I mean, that's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with me, it's always a line of, like, to your point, is like, when is it unhealthy, I guess?
Yeah.
At what point does it become a codependency thing? Not so much like me calling you like, babe, I need help with this, or what's your advice on that? But
Yeah.
like, I just feel like there's a thin line that I struggle with, because once you have broken down the barrier with me, it's like, I'm like,
Yeah.
it's like everything,
felt
you know what
that
I mean?
too.
And so
Yeah.
I'm just like, at what point, and these are just self-reflection things, at what point is it an unhealthy codependency where I'm like calling you for everything versus I value your opinion in this, so I want to talk to you about it. And that's where I struggle personally, is like when I like get to a certain point, it's like,
Yeah. No facts.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's that's something I definitely want to keep in mind as I continue to date through just navigating the journey with meeting different people and having different relationships with men, is just like, I feel like part of it is like I've been so independent that it'll almost just be like a relief, and I'm just gonna like be like, just do everything for me. But like, that's also not realistic, nor is it good. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Don't listen to me, because I'm single as fuck. But I mean,
but
these
it
are
does
just
happen.
thoughts that I have. Is like, when I get in a relationship, sometimes I'm too like,
Me too.
yeah, I'm just like stuck like glue. It's like I want to live in your skin.
Yeah.
And like, at what point is that bad, or is it?
Yeah. I don't know. I think living in your skin is like,
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds weird, but cute.
Yeah.
But what I think, where I think maybe, and I don't want to say that this is what you're saying, but maybe is like, an example is like, I would make decisions in this relationship based on goals and discussions and things that I had visioned for me and this person versus things that would be good for just me. You know what I mean? Like,
Like
and I
you're
guess if
shifting your perspective
yeah, and if you're
into being a
married, that's what
partnership
you
thing.
do. But
Right.
like,
Exactly.
we were in a relationship, and I was making life plans around our relationship. You know what I mean? And it wasn't just like a few. Like sometimes these were big decisions. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say that I like came home from New York for this. I was like pretty unhappy in New York, but like, was that person being back in Buffalo part of why I wanted to be back here? Like, yeah, you know what I mean? And so, I definitely think I've made life decisions around my partners and relationships that in hindsight I look back and I'm like, you invested too much. You know what I mean? Too much of yourself. You built too much around this, and now the rug is pulled from under you, and you're like, well, fuck. Now you feel like you got to rebuild, and like, I didn't even know who I was at a certain point because it was all.
That's some real shit.
You know, like, my whole life was him. So I was like, damn, you know, what do I enjoy anymore? I don't know, you know, like, what is SP like? Like, I don't know. What does SP want for dinner? Like, I don't know, you know, so.
That was a big thing for me too, like in hindsight when I look back, and that was part of like therapy work and the realization of I was so grateful like that everything that transpired in my last relationship did, because it helped me recognize a lot of these things, from boundaries that I was just only setting in my relationship versus with, again, my family. They looked completely different, to my like just how I was moving, the lack of like relationship and communication I was really having with my family, and coming back, it's like, yo, like all roads led back here. So 100%, I feel like you, in some ways, you have to, and maybe not, because some people don't, but for me, God knew, like, in order for me to show up differently in my next partnership and to even just do that work that you're speaking of, I had to go through that in that manner, because it was like, who was I? I had to relearn everything, even down to like apartment aesthetics, you know what I mean? So I think it was so good that it happened to us, because it's like, sky's the limit.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Just keep on keeping on. Oh, you're filled with lyrics today.
No, you're really good.
No.
You were killing it. You were killing it.
Yeah, I don't know. Just pray for us, I guess. If you're praying for us, just keep me in your prayers. Good Lord, because I don't know.
Have you guys taken your love languages quiz on the topics of quizzes? What's your love languages?
Mine is top is acts of service.
Sure. I can't remember what I think mine might be quality time, acts of service.
Mine, I think those are the top
quality
two.
time, acts of
That's
service,
okay.
and gifts. In case anybody's looking to impress me.
I like a little something.
Man.
I wouldn't have considered. I was surprised when I saw receiving gifts on there, but I was like, huh,
Okay, here it is.
I love it.
Was green. Okay, I'm just gonna, I don't know. Okay, I had 33% words of affirmation,
Okay.
23% acts of service, 20% quality time, 17 gift, and 7%
Physical touch.
physical touch.
That's funny because physical touch was
Because-
dead last on mine too.
Because I feel like when I get quality time, I get all this.
Yeah.
Words of affirmation, physical touch. Like,
Yeah.
I get,
It's like
I get
4 in 1,
sometimes
really.
gifts,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
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 Love it.
So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Acts of
No, and
service.
because I think for me, yeah, I know that it's like acts of service, because like my favorite thing is when people notice things about me and do things for me without me having to ask them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I noticed this, or I did this to make your life. Because 8 times out of 10, I'm not gonna ask.
Right.
And certain things, yes, there's things I want to heal about myself, but I've also just accepted certain parts of me, and part of it is like, I'll ask for help when I need it, but I more often than not probably won't, especially if it's something that I can do myself or something like that. Like, some things we just are who we are, and that's just one thing I think with me that probably will never really change too much. It's just my personality. So that I think it will be important for me to have a partner that understands that about me and like is able to like tap into that without me having to ask. Just little things. Like, I honestly, it's the littlest things to me that like make a difference. Like, anything you can do to make my life a little bit easier, or anything you can do to like take a little bit of a burden off of me, like means like so much to me. And yeah, because I've always kind of felt like people, I'm giving y'all all the tea today, but I feel like a lot of times I haven't always felt valued for who I really was. A lot of it was outward. I feel like a lot of it has been desired me for my outward appearance, not for the person that I am, which frustrates me. So someone that would really take the time to get to know me would mean a lot to me.
I was surprised for me that words of affirmation was like 33 because, just was the first one because I don't like compliments.
Yeah.
It was like, but I wonder if the affirming pieces come from like the abandonment schema side of things. I need to feel secure, and it's just so interesting. So like,
and it doesn't even necessarily have to be like a compliment though. Words of affirmation. It could just be. It doesn't have to be like you're pretty or like you're nice. It can come from like you're powerful or like I love the way you do this.
But even that makes me like.
Or like true. Yeah. I guess it's receiving any sort of like positive thing about you.
But I agree. You've mentioned that in the previous pods too. Just like, it could be something so minute. Like if you notice that she like puts water a specific way in her glass and cuts a lime, like, or that she really will eat a pickle out of a jar, like.
And then I like.
And you bring her a pickle jar, she'll be like, "Are you kidding?"
Not just any pickle, but I have certain brands and certain kinds I like. Yeah.
Just little things. Yeah.
So there's just certain things. I think that would. With me, that type of shit goes a long way because it just is like, oh, you're not just paying attention to how I look or how I look with you or what we're putting out into the world. It's like you're just really trying to like get to know me and like want to like do small things for me because I feel like I do that for other people. Well, relationships.
I think also
you do it in all of them. Okay.
Yeah.
Love you.
I think like as women though too, like men get. I'm not saying we've definitely gotten finer with age, but like
I agree.
I think
absolutely.
I think also like beauty fades, right? So like that's scary too because if you only like me because of the way I look and something about the way I
don't know,
look
does
changes.
Beauty fade because Tracy Ellis Ross is over here?
It's true. Okay, but she's an alien.
That's
actually, she's an alien.
I'm sorry,
what's your
but
secret?
LB might just end up being Miss Tracy.
I thought I saw gray hair in my head today, and
okay,
I almost
but
called the
also
police.
Let's just keep in mind Tracy Ellis Ross is single. Okay, she's
She
out
is.
here living.
Right.
She looks so damn good because she's got nobody stressing her out.
That's true. That's
all
very
I'm saying.
true. That's very true. But it's true. To your point, you're right. At the end of the day, we're going to get older, and that's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah,
but we're not going to look the same.
If something, God forbid, you had a freak accident, you know what I mean? Like, and now, so you have to live with the fact that your partner doesn't love you or isn't attracted to you. Like, those are the things that go on in my head. You know what I mean? Like, because what you liked was this.
Or you have a baby and you're not as thin as you were, and like your body changes, and like.
Because it does.
Yeah.
Because it does. You know, like.
And that tummy tuck expense.
Mommy makeover. Don't play with me.
Jesus. Wow. Yeah. All right, should we pull a card?
Well, it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, we'll pull a card to close out, but. You guys, we're going to share the links for the attachment style.
Yeah.
We'll share both attachments.
We have new quizzes too.
Yeah,
trauma.
I want to see the one that Jess was
Adam's
talking
over
about.
here trying to really tell us their life. Shit.
All right. I think it's your turn to pull a
Oh,
card.
gosh.
Okay, train. Listen, y'all. This train always wants to say hello to us.
Always. I feel like a mother in this. Like, I got my moo-moo on.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Hilarious. Okay. I can't bet Jessica's cards, so let me just be very careful here.
It's been a minute, you know. One more time, it's all good.
Okay.
Can't believe we're wrapping up, man.
Why do I do feel like we keep seeing
I'm
a
saying,
lot of like the
yeah.
same? Maybe we've done so many of them.
I think we've definitely done a lot, and there were
But
a few
there's
episodes.
we've only had 20 episodes. There's way more than 20.
But
That's
you know
what I'm
what?
saying.
We pulled more than one card. There's been several
That's
episodes.
true. In the
like,
beginning.
In the beginning, and I think the episode we did with like Lau and OJ, we pulled
Oh,
a
yeah,
few
we all pulled a
each, You know,
few.
so I think that's why.
Okay, so this kind of goes with, although I feel like we kind of talked about this. How do I want to be loved by somebody else? No, any taker. The fuck? Do you want me?
Hold on, a question.
You guys were both staring at each other. I was like, so is someone gonna say something? Because honestly, I don't know what you guys want me to do.
How do you want to be loved by somebody else?
Okay.
Okay.
Do I have a clear picture of who I want to be at this time next year? Actually, no. Let's save this one. Yeah. Or
No, let's save it.
the struggle. I was thinking of doing this one for our last one though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like then we can revisit.
It's a nice
it
wrap up
when
question,
we like.
yeah.
I feel like I should be playing the Jeopardy song right now. What do I want to learn more about in this chapter of my life? Now that we've gone over these attachment theories, is there anything else?
Ooh, I'm ready to learn about schemas and trauma, my trauma styles.
Yeah, schemas, that's going to blow your mind a little bit.
I'm ready to learn about those. Yeah, report back.
Okay.
Report back.
I'm gonna skip this one. I don't know.
I think
There's no
you.
skip. I'll go and then come back to
Yeah,
you.
I was
There's
gonna
no
say. I feel
skipping.
like Jesse,
what?
you what do you want to learn more about in your life? You've been learning about like
God?
your faith. Yeah, you're
Oh.
growing closer to God.
Yes, that's true. Oh yes, that's okay.
Yes, that's a good one. Thank you for
Got it.
jot that down. Write that down somewhere.
Listen, okay. No, that's funny. That's funny. There is. I mean, I do want to learn it. There's a lot of man. When it's time for me to go back to therapy, I'm gonna do more work on what's next to learn. I do actually. This is so random. It's not in relation to this, but I do want to potentially get my certification in Pilates.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you've been saying
Pilates
that.
body.
Yeah.
Pilates day.
Listen, Pilates, baby.
Listen,
Say
Pilates
less. I'm gonna be at
bodies.
Jess's house. Like,
I'm gonna be at call me.
The Pilates bodies, get it.
Love
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
You know.
all
I
right.
was in the best shape of my life when I was doing Pilates.
Pilates
I was
will
also
take you
like
there.
22.
Listen, but
so-
LB, you have a class today, 5 to 6:30. Let's go.
Please give 8 hours notice window if you're not gonna. I will charge your card anyway if you don't show. Okay. I think for me is I would like to. Damn, this one is kind of hard. What do I want to learn more about in this chapter of my life? Like I said in the last episode, is like there's still things that are like triggering me that I didn't realize. So I think just to continue to like put myself out there and just see what comes back. Like just keep learning about myself. Actually, this is what I was going to say about OJ because he said this to me yesterday, which like this is the OJ way to say it, but like it actually makes sense because we were just talking about dating and stuff and he was like, just try it. Like, if it doesn't work, then, like, it doesn't work. He's like, but if it's... if
He's
you
so
care,
simple.
No, that's what I mean. But it's so true. Like, he
Yeah.
just broke... I'm like, damn, like, okay.
Like, you don't like it, end it.
Yeah, but I'm the one that, like, I'm like, okay, well, what about this? And what about that? And I've already talked myself out of it before I even get there.
Yeah.
That it's like, why not just try it? If it doesn't work, like, I should trust myself enough at this point to be able to, like, know when it's right and when it's wrong. But he's like, if it's something you care about and it piques your interest and it's something that like you're comfortable with, and he, you know, gave his whole OJ list of shit, but basically like just try it.
I agree.
So yeah, I think at this point it's just like just try it and stay true to me, what I've picked up all these last 3 years of being single, good Lord. And
All right, bachelors, you hear that? She's on the market.
slide in my DMs at ListMom.
Send her an email.
Yeah. Send me one thing you like about me. Just kidding.
Personality only, please.
Yeah, exactly.
She knows she's beautiful, okay?
Yes, my mom tells me that all the time. Natural beauty you are, Alyssa, she says. But, all right, well,
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
tune in next week for our final episode
Yes.
of season 1.
Like, follow, subscribe.
And download.
Bye, y'all.